everyone, and welcome to another episode on the podcast Work in Progress with me, Nicoletta, and Kat. Today, we're going to talk about a challenge that we face most in our solopreneurs' journeys, and that challenge may be seen as a wall, which is called fear or failure.
Exactly. I think fear of failure is something really big for a lot of us. It can cause you to second guess all of your decisions, worry about people judging you, and just leave you paralyzed to actually make the next steps in order to achieve your dreams.
Absolutely. But today, stay tuned. We're not going to talk about only how we feel and what we have faced in terms of failure and fear, but we're also going to talk about how we are going to overcome and progress in this journey. So stay tuned.
100%. Yeah. So as we said in the introduction, I think a lot of fear of failure can really stop you from making the next steps, especially when you're starting something new. If you're always worried about who's going to judge you or if you're going to fail in front of people. I think that's one thing that you have to do as entrepreneurs is like get yourself out in front of people. For example, creating an Instagram account. And this is so public, like literally everyone in the world can see your failure, you know? If you do a shitty post, everyone will see.
Thanks for the reminder now.
This is something that held me back a long time. So I remember also for me when I first became a designer, I guess I went to a design school in Milan in Italy. And when I'm not very good at school, to be honest. So like generally I don't get amazing grades or anything. And when I graduated, I could see all of my, what are they called? Like peers, fellow students, starting to work, like creating amazing portfolioes, like all these websites or just stuff that looked amazing and it was amazing. And I was always so scared of creating my website, my portfolio website and launching it. And then like everyone at my design school just laughing at me, just being like, oh, look how shit Kat is. Which is so crazy. But this fear of just people laughing at me, I don't know who exactly, but I thought everyone in the whole school would. This really stopped me, like held me back a lot in my career because I just never launched my website because I was always worried about this.
Interesting. So you're talking about a point of view where other more successful people in your eyes would criticize your work and your accomplishments. Where in my case, I grew up in a small village and I always was loving learning. I was always the one that raised the hand and I was like the push back. I know how they call them, pushovers, in school when they're like good with the teachers and everything.
Oh, the teacher's pet.
Yes, I was that person.
Were you?
Yes, because I love learning and I like to know more and I'm curious. So I always speak up and I always ask questions and I always want more. And I was that annoying kid in the class. So I think when I grew up in that environment where people were actually not bullying, but making comments about, oh, she's trying too hard, look at her trying to stand out and kind of thing. From unsupportive perspective, I always thought like, oh, if I do this new thing, those people that not support me and don't believe in me will keep talking shit about me, right? So that's why I'm always second guessing and trying to think why I'm doing these things that I'm doing and what they would say. But in real life, do these people really exist?
Yeah.
Does anybody actually cares what we do? Like, are they all focused on themselves or we are just thinking that it's all on us? Like,
yeah, I think that's really important that like these people don't care. I mean, even I think about people that I went to high school with. I don't care what they're doing, like, of course, I hope that they're happy and whatever, but there's no way I would go onto their website and be like, look how shit this is, like
exactly,
it's just not, too busy to do that. Or it's just like a negative thing in general. But it's really interesting how just like this imaginary thought holds you back from really taking steps forward in your career and really achieving your dreams. It's not even a real thing.
Exactly. I think the self-talk and the negative self-talk in particular, it's very, how to say, determining like your actions on a daily basis. And I think me personally, in most cases, also think about and try to reframe and take out myself from that position and think from the outside perspective, like, why wouldn't I risk and try to do something differently in a different way rather than giving up, running away, and starting something new? That's, I don't know, scarcity mindset or um, like a running habit, to abandon things before you actually
Mm,
get to the point where you have to face your fear. You know,
yeah.
it's just like
Yeah,
constant
like you
battle.
already tell yourself a story before you even get to that place of taking that risk.
Exactly.
Like you might say, oh, I'll never be able to, work as a freelancer. So you don't even try because you fear like of failing. But I really like what you say about trying to reframe it as a
Mhm.
positive thing. I guess that's also how I'm seeing a bit my career now, that there's no way back, I just have to keep
Yeah.
going forward. Failing to me would be like stopping and not moving forward anymore.
But what is failure for you? Do you have any memory of failing so far?
Well, I think that it's an interesting question because I always hear from business owners and entrepreneurs that like failing is a really important part of doing business or like
Yeah.
running a business or all of these
Mm-hmm.
things. And up
Mm,
until, well, in general, I don't really feel like I failed. I see failure as like rock bottom, everything sucks, like you've
right?
lost everything. For
Mm,
me, that's failure. Whereas,
mm-hmm.
but making, let's say you do a post on Instagram and no one likes it, I don't see that as failure. That's more of just like a progress. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I have to say I have similar like view on failure, and I also see it like
Mm,
something final, like something that
yeah.
there's no going back kind of situation anymore. But even then, I think I also see it as a turn rather than a blocked street. And I also feel kind of like confused when I hear uh, you must fail to succeed, you must fail, you must. And I'm like, why I don't resonate with this message? Like, what is this? Like, I don't see anything as a failure. It's just like a sign that I have to just do something differently, like you said.
Mm,
Like, project doesn't succeed as you want it to be, or it gets canceled in the middle, like it happened to me for in one point. And I was just like, oh, okay, then next time I will not have, in that specific example, two projects in the same time. I will not do that anymore. And even though the client says I'm okay with this time frame and deadline, I would make sure that actually like negotiate all the terms and everything that is going to happen in this period of time, and then work on the project solely on this project. So
mm.
in terms of failure, I just see it as a lesson and something that I just have to change in the future. I don't know, I don't see it as a failure per se, more like a
Yeah,
lesson.
exactly. So I have actually on my wall a quote from Christo. I just
Yeah.
related to what you said. It
Yeah.
says, "Let's turn this shit into gold," which I think I saw
Ooh.
on a webinar once that he was talking about this. And it's like, okay, if something shit happens, let's like reframe it, turn it into
Mhm.
gold. So you have shit and then you have gold. Amazing. Um,
Interesting, interesting.
yeah. And for me, okay, this recently happened in my career. So
Mm,
someone that I worked for recommended me for a project with quite a big company, and their
mhm.
budget for just a website redesign was like $50,000.
Ooh.
Um, oh, it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I normally don't charge anything close to this, just for context. So for me, even just seeing that was like, fuck.
Mhm,
Um, then I had the discovery call with them. I ended up, I think in the end, their budget was a bit less. So then I quoted
mhm,
them. The project proposal was like 22,000. This
mhm,
was for redesign and building the website. It was quite a big website as well.
mhm.
But for me, yeah, it was just such a big opportunity, and I was super excited about it. I didn't get the job, but having
Was it
that
a
like,
failure?
well, initially, yeah, I was like, oh, this sucks. But I
Mhm,
think for full transparency, I don't think that I was maybe ready for that project. It was like
mhm.
quite a big thing, and it might have been a bit outside of my
Scope.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact that like being in a meeting with someone who would take me seriously when I
Yeah.
said 22,000
Yeah.
was it just like opened my mind to all the possibilities
Possibilities.
outside of it. That
Mm.
like if someone will take me seriously saying that price, like
Mm.
why am I charging like 2 or 3 thousand? Like, yeah, let's get, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like very not happy that I didn't get the project, but I'm super glad that then that showed me the future, you know, like it showed me
Yep.
what the potential that is there.
Yeah.
So yeah, shit, gold.
Yeah. You just reminded me about something that happened recently. I shared with all my newsletter subscribers that I applied for the government grant from Croatia, and me as a European, but coming from a very small town, I mean, village, literally a village with less than 10,000 people.
Mm,
It's just like so like if the whole government believes in you that you can succeed in this business and they're willing to give you money to start, there's
yeah.
no going back, like you say. I mean, I have started, I have experimented already in the freelancing industry, but now this support will give me that how
Mm,
you trampoline jump to go and make bigger risks and take bigger projects and expand my point of view of what kind of
mm,
client work I want to do. So I think that jump is also quite scary because you don't know where you will land, right? And how it will
yeah.
turn out. But it's just that I think I read this quote recently in a book. It's just like to achieve something that you want, you just have to do different things to get there, to get
Mm,
this thing that you haven't gotten yet, right? And
yeah.
also you deep down know that to get there and to get this thing, you have to go through it with fear. That's the key.
Hmm.
To
Yeah.
achieve the success, to get that thing that you so much want, you have to fear. Because if the fear is present, then this means it's quite important to you. So
Yeah.
it's something really, really important to you. If you're not scared, then it's not it.
Yeah. That's very true. It's a good, yeah, it's nice to think about that, that like if you are nervous about something before you do it, then obviously
Mm,
this thing means a lot to you. So just
yep.
keep going with it. And I really love what you said there with the government believed in you for like this
Mm,
starting your business. So
yeah.
why are you caring about like these people in high school, like that they're going to look at you and say like, ah, what a failure. Who
Yeah.
cares? You know, like this one person believed in you. So
Mm,
go with that. Like just keep moving forward.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The reframing part, I think it's how you see yourself and way you see yourself, and also to like turn shit into gold, like Krista
Mm,
said, but also surround yourself with people that are on the same path. Just have that
mm,
support system and learn from others that are already there where you want to be.
yeah.
Or just learn from each other and take whatever you need at the moment as energy, as advice, as like supporting ear maybe, or just someone to tell you you can do this, right? So I
Mm,
think that's very important part of the resilience combined with the fear. You just need people to support you in that solopreneur or freelance journey, and you have to surround yourself with the right
mm.
environment.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to what we said at the very beginning, that, you know, lots of people were saying as a business owner, you need to fail a lot.
Mm.
I think it's really maybe relevant even to change how you, yeah, change how you see failure in that sentence. Yeah, you do need to fail a lot, but failure doesn't need to, yeah, I think failure sounds very final and very like doom and gloom, you know?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
say, it's better to say like as a business owner, you need to keep learning, you need to keep moving forward, you need to keep
tasting.
trying things, yeah, keep testing. For me, failure would be just stopping, you know, or like going
Yep.
backwards, or that would
Yeah.
be, you know, I guess you just need to keep trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I heard that quote also, that business owners need to keep failing, I thought that I wasn't taking enough risks. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I started second guessing myself, like maybe I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying hard enough because I don't feel like I failed. Maybe I need to
Mm-hmm.
fail. Or I was
How do
like,
we
do it.
feel?
Yeah, like people always say like, ah, my first two businesses failed. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to start two businesses before, just like keep going
Yeah.
on this. So yeah, I was always worried that I wasn't doing enough, not failing enough.
Even having
Yeah.
that outside pressure that are you doing the right thing if you're not doing that thing, it's just
Mm,
like, you know what, block all that and just listen to your intuition, because deep down in yourself, as a positive psychology person would say, you know what is right and wrong, you know even before you ask the question. And
mm,
in that book that I read, they always say that we deep down know what we need to do, but we just initially start looking for validation from the outside world. I don't know, it's kind of an instinct to ask people around you to share your thoughts and your plans
yeah.
and everything and ideas. But that's the first mistake, because they start crushing them, start to see the doubt in you, they start like questioning your decisions, and they don't see, and then they most importantly don't feel how you feel, and they don't know
Mm,
what you know. So it's really
yeah.
important to listen to that inner voice, gut feeling, intuition that you have, and
Yeah.
go with it.
Yeah. And when you start reaching out to people to get feedback or get help,
Mm.
um, like you said, listen to the responses that they're saying, but then reach out to the people, positive people, who are going to give you
Mm-hmm.
good feedback rather than just like, this idea isn't going to work. Or, I mean, I also think it's important to look at like, ask people advice. No, what's the saying? You shouldn't ask someone, don't take advice from somewhere who isn't where you want to be.
Mm.
So don't, like, if someone is not working in your job, then like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not the right
The right
person to
person.
ask, like
Yeah.
right people, ask people who you've seen that they have success, or that you see that they work in the same, like they have the
Direction.
same mind frame as you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just ask your cheerleaders, because you know that you will get that confirmation that you actually need. That's why we are sharing, right? Because we
Mm,
need that bounce of energy to come back to us, like, yes, do it. I'm
yeah.
really excited for you. That's the right direction. Keep going, right? We're just looking for that mirror to reflect what we feel inside. But often those people that we are directing that energy towards, they're not reflecting that same energy, because they're not in the same alignment, and they're not on the same path, and they don't see the same things we see.
Yeah,
And that's
100%.
normal, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean that they're like bad or anything, but you need to find the
Mm-mm.
right people to talk to, which is so
Yes.
important. Why you need these besties.
Biz basis, yes, exactly.
Yeah. What was the book that you were reading? Because you said quite a few quotes from it.
Yeah, the book is called Don't Believe Everything You Think, and it was
Mhm.
written in a really nice font, and it was telling me what to do. And I was like, let me read that, because you telling me not to believe what they think, it's quite bold. So let me see what is in there. And it was this thin, and I think it's published in 2022 or something like that. It's quite recent book.
Mhm.
I think the author was Vietnamese. I will butcher the name, so I will save it for my for the listeners. I will just probably put it in the description in our episode so they can find it.
Okay,
And
perfect.
I took lots of nuggets from that book, and lots of wisdoms of quotes of wisdom, and like advices, and very simple things, because there's nothing like quite complex in that book in general. And
Mm.
I think that's why it has so much like 1-star reviews on Goodreads as well. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But there is one sentence in there that really struck me, and it's like, truth is always simple, and it always has been.
Yeah. Yeah, super simple.
Why would we complicate things when it is what it is? It is how
Mm.
it's always has been. Like, there is
Yeah.
no formula, there's no like secret. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I'm definitely going to look this book up. I think
Okay.
sometimes those really simple sentences, like when you read them, I guess
Mm-hmm.
those people leaving 1-star reviews were expecting something super profound from a book like that. But then
Yeah.
sometimes if you read a simple sentence like that at the right time, then it can
Mm.
change your entire perspective of things. But you need to understand it in a different way than just reading it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You have to just be open to receive that message. I believe that's what comes to when when you read books. Some books might hit you and be like, "Oh, I really resonate with this thing." This means that you're on the
Yeah.
same vibration with the book and the message. But sometimes can miss the mark and be like, "Oh, this is totally not for me. I don't believe this. Why would they write this?" Right?
Yeah.
Uh, but it is true, and that some messages might resonate with you, some might not. And something from that book again that reminded me how powerful our brains are is just that fear is present only when you think about it. Take a minute, take a few seconds. Fear is only present when you think about it,
Yeah.
when you give in into that emotion, when you start panic, when you start
Mm-hmm.
falling into overthinking and being scared and those negative thoughts and feelings on that side of the spectrum. But if
Yeah.
you block them and if you ignorance is a bliss, that's very true. If you stop thinking about that and just focus on joy and positive things and what you can do today, right now, and improve and work towards your dreams, you will not have the time to spend in fear, but rather than delusion,
Yeah.
positive thinking, and believing that you can make it.
Yeah. 100%. No, I think it's super powerful. It's like when people say, you know, like, oh, if you're sad, just stop being sad, which is
Yeah.
like such annoying advice, but it's also kind of right that like if you are scared of this thing, just stop thinking about it. Like put your
Mm.
thoughts to somewhere else so that you're not, giving space to that fear.
To take
Um,
over.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if someone, when you're feeling sad or something and someone's like, just don't be sad, it's like, fuck off. That's terrible advice. But you need to
Well,
think of it in the correct way, I guess.
yeah, I mean, there is situations when we have to give in into sadness for sure and feeling
Mhm.
down and low, and we have to process those emotions. But
Yeah.
if there is a thin line timing as well, I think, and certainly some emotions can be ignored and some shouldn't and should be
Mhm.
processed. But if it's like a reasonable fear, yes, sure, take some reflection, time to think about it and dissect it rather
Yeah.
than just panicking. Work on it, see where it comes from, cry it out, and then move on, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just be like, oh my god, everything is going to shit. Well,
Yeah.
it is, but how can you change it? How can you make it not to go to shit?
Yeah. How you make it gold is the key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about
Amazing.
that.
Yeah. Right. So for everyone dealing with a fear of failure or just fear in your life, in your business, we have two takeaways today. Nicoletta.
Well, don't take it personally and try to not overthink. Like, try to take control of your mind and try to focus on how you can be better and just do
Mhm.
the right things for you and your business. That's it. And try to cancel that noise in your mind, self negative talk, or other people telling you that you can't or you shouldn't or whatever. Just follow your own path, and that's it.
Exactly. Amazing advice. And the second one that we wanted to say is just try to reframe your failure into something positive. If you feel like you did a bad job with something, see what you can learn from it. If you, I don't know, didn't get a project or you had a bad experience, yeah, see what you can learn from it. Turn it into gold, as Christo says.
Yeah.
We learn
And
from the
do
master.
Yes, yes. Do your best. Just do your best and try to
Mhm.
see, like, you can get like very good positive feedback even from failed projects, because you
Mm.
can see what you have learned, what experience you gained from these projects or from that specific situation, and like just trying to get the best out of it. That's it.
Yeah, 100%.
So we hope you enjoyed our episode today and you had some good nuggets in it. I don't know, I keep saying nuggets, but I hope you find anything useful in this episode. I hope we gave you some kind of motivation, strength, little bit of positive energy to keep going and try to find your own way into your business. And yeah, keep in touch. Please reach out to our social media on Instagram and YouTube and
Yeah.
say which part of the episode resonates most with you. And
Or maybe if you could share a story of how you reframed a failure into something positive, that would be really interesting for us also to share with more listeners or our followers.
exactly.
Because I think the more we talk about our failure, the more it makes it more normal, and it
Yes.
makes it okay to fail. So
And provides more learning material for other people, because we learn from others and we really like learning, especially me. So keep sharing your experiences with us, and yeah, stay tuned for the next episode.
yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.